Tonight on SportsDesk. Off the deep end, Johnny Mushton dives into the latest in Canes socials, from mascot mayhem to new faces.
Plus, in full swing, one Canes golfer shares her routines and mindset heading into every round.
And finally, coming down the straights, how one distance runner has changed the face of Canes track.
All this and more
SportsDesk starts
right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UM guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of SportsDesk. I'm Shay McDonald.
And I'm Annie Watson. Thank you for joining us. Shay, it's been an eventful week for Canes sports at the Diamond, in the pool. It's a great time to be a Hurricane.
Yeah, but it has not been very kind to Miami baseball, and their slippery slope continued this week in their midweek face-off against FIU. Let's take you to Mark Light to see how the Panthers pounced on the struggling Canes. Miami taking on FIU, and it's going to be Reese Lumpkin with the start. He's going to get a strikeout right here, but it's not going to be a great day for Reese, as this hit is going to fly over the first baseman's head, driving home 2 runs right there. And same spot, same result for Reese Lumpkin. This one, the outfielder cannot corral. It's going to drive home another run, and Lumpkin out of the game after just 2/3 of the inning. Right here, some good plays for Miami. Third baseman's going to get this one, fire it over the first base, and that's going to get Miami out of the inning. And Dorian Gonzalez at the plate, boom, a moonshot, going to give Miami their first run on the day right there. Now, catcher's going to fire to second, going to get the base runner, catch the base runner, trying to be sneaky, get him out right there. But FIU continuing to lay it on with this home run to give him a 6-1 lead. But this one, too, looking like it's going long, but it's going to die out. And Michael Torres, a heroic diving catch to get the out right there. And plays like this aren't going to help much for Miami. 10-2 loss is going to not be great.
Canes baseball is at Pitt right now, where they defeated the Panthers 9-4 earlier today and are in the midst of their doubleheader. As their struggles continue, our Inside Pitch crew is here to break down what to expect for the rest of the weekend and beyond. Guys?
Thanks, Annie. Welcome back to Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Shaden Kohi, joined by analyst Luca Mucciardi. Luca, the Canes have been struggling with baseball. They've won 1 out of their past 5 matchups. They're struggling in that bullpen. Tell me a little bit about what you've been seeing, especially in the last few innings.
Well, why don't we start by taking a look at what the Canes did against FIU during their midweek. Now, coming into this, Miami, a 5.49 ERA. That's 4th worst in the ACC. And you could see it here, just leaving balls out over the middle of the plate. This is my perfect example from the game against FIU. Lazaro Calera leaves a fastball right down the heart of the plate, and he gets taken for a ride over the wall in left center. The Canes second in earned runs in the ACC with 157 coming into this series against Pitt. But if you take a look at what they did today, the Canes bullpen was stellar. 3 innings of relief. They only allowed 1 hit and 1 run. They're able to get a 9-4 victory in Game 1. What can they do in Game 2 today up in Pitt? Well, I guess we'll see.
Well, they got 2 fighters that can definitely help them out there, 2 people that have been shining a light on the Canes. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah, well, why don't we take a look at our impact players. Let's start with Fabio Peralta, who I'm calling the freshman phenom this year because he's been phenomenal. 9 of 12, 9 for his last 12, a .428 average in his last 5 games, 10 total bases. He's leading the team in average. This kid is stellar. And then the Wichita State transfer, Derek Williams, 6 for his last 20, 2 home runs in his last 5 games, 12 total bases, team leading 6 home runs. I mean, the guy they call Debo, yeah, he could swing that bat, folks.
So the Canes got something rolling here, but they need to continue making improvements. So tell me, what do you think they can do to improve?
Well, let's take a look at Luca's looks for this week. I'm going to start with working with runners on because Miami is 14th in the ACC in RBIs. They've struggled with men on the base paths. They got to bring those guys home if they want to look for quality wins at this part of the season. Second off, it's going to be painting the corners. Back to what I was saying with those pitchers. Can't be leaving those balls over the heart of the plate. Got to find ways to get into pitchers' counts, and Pitt is a big swing and miss team. Guys like Griffin Hughes were able to take advantage of that today. And then finally, it's going to be smart small ball. Miami was able to win up in UNC last weekend with small ball, moving guys over, sacrifice bunts. They were able to do it again today. They did have a home run from Tanner Smith, but after that, it was 5 runs, all from the small ball.
If the Canes want to keep on winning, they should take a look at SportsDesk. That's all the time we have for Inside Pitch. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Luca and Jaden. We all know the hardest sports desk segment is behind the post, but none of us really know how it works. So why don't we ask the expert on how it's done? Johnny, do your thing.
Everyone's been asking me, Johnny, how hard is it to host a segment like Behind the Post? Well, guys, it is quite the challenge, let me tell you. So for this episode, I'm going to teach all of you how to be like Johnny Mushton, your special host of your favorite segment of Behind the Post. Now let's start off with today's word of the day, mediocre. That's exactly how Canes baseball has been so far this season. But just when I want to stop watching, this insane catch from Mikey Torres reels me right back in.
In the air to right center field. Long run. Did he get there? He did. What a catch.
The next word of the day is him, because that's exactly what Jay Lucas has been so far. The new head coach grabbed 2 elite prospects in Malik Renew and Trey Donaldson. So what do we say to Mr. Lucas? Thank you. But the ladies are also getting some new faces. The Canes just signed Italian star Vittoria Blasi, who just got this hype video of her showing off her new threads for the Canes. Andiamo in Italia! And finally, the best news of the week, the Miami Maniac has finally called it quits. Folks, this might be the happiest I've ever been on Behind the Post. I hate this guy. Even more happy than a potential new Mrs. Sebastian the Ibis in the Bahamas. God, Miami spends its money so responsibly. Well, that's going to do it for me today. I hope that all of you learned everything you need to learn about how to do my job. So keep that in mind next time you're on SportsDesk and get in the absolute best from Miami Hurricanes social media. I'm Johnny Mushton, and I just took all of you behind the post. Back to you.
Thanks, Johnny. Coming up, our O Sports Roundup team breaks down the recent success of Canes swim and dive and much more. Don't go anywhere. SportsDesk returns right after this.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
As the track outdoor season is underway, one grad student has been the face of a culture shift within the distance program. Annie Watson has a story.
Born in Miami, Daphne Lavassis was raised in Greece, the birthplace of the marathon and distance running. So as she reflects on her career and why she chose to run, it all dates back to 2004, when her parents took her to the Olympic Games in Athens.
I wanted to see more distance athletes who were Greeks because I didn't understand why we have such a culture and tradition in this discipline, but we don't really have the top athletes in the world, or we don't have a consistency.
A graduate student at the U, Lavassis is used to sacrifices like early morning practices and year-long training to stay at the top of her game. Sacrifices like these that helped her shift the culture in the running programs here at Miami.
We just had a coaching change, so the coach was trying to fix a new team and set a new standard at because when I came here there was no standard, so that was my goal, set the bar and keep setting it higher and higher for myself, but also for the people that are going to come after me. I thought that was very important to do, to elevate our program and distance running as a sport here at
And even amid the chaotic nature of college athletics, Daphne has never shied away from the U. The impact of her career at Miami has been far-reaching. From her achievements on and off the track, she has broken records and set a whole new precedent for running at Miami.
She's proved that you can be a successful distance runner in Miami, which unlike before, people didn't think that was possible. And then on the team, she sets a good tone for everybody in terms of pushing yourself beyond what you think is possible. And I think she, tries to relate to all of our teammates.
In her last outdoor season, Daphne is hoping to become the first Cane to make it to the final round of nationals for distance running. Up next after college, the LA Olympics in 2028. There, Daphne hopes to rep the blue and white of the Greek flag, but deep in her veins, she'll be repping the green and orange of the U. For UMTV, I'm Annie Watson.
Miami's Olympic sports have been on fire lately, with track having a great start to their outdoor season and swim and dive taking podiums on the national level. Our Sports Roundup crew is in the studio with all the updates. Guys?
What's up, Canes fans? Welcome back to another episode of the O Sports Roundup on SportsDesk. I'm MK Eason.
And I'm Ariel Lopez. After an impressive start to their outdoor season, the University of Miami track and field team heads to Gainesville for Florida relays this weekend. The two-day meet kicks off Friday at 11 a.m. as the Canes will compete against several ranked teams, including Auburn, Florida, and Texas A&M. MK, I heard that swim and dive are doing some great things this week. What's going on with them?
Yeah, Ariel, swim and dive finished up at the NCAA Championships this past weekend with senior Max Flory and 2023 former Diver of the Year getting 5th place in the platform and making it to the finals of the 1 meter. On the women's side, the women took over the podium with Chiara Pellicani placing as a national champion in the 1 meter, with Mia Valley just right behind her and runner-up. In the 3 meter, Valley got 4th place and Pellicani got 2nd place. Ariel, tell me a little bit about how men's tennis is doing right now.
Yeah, MK, the number 33 University of Miami men's tennis team shut out Louisville 4-0 on Thursday at the Neil Schiff Tennis Center. The Hurricanes grabbed the doubles point and dominated in singles with victories from Nacho Serra Sanchez, number 24 Martin Katz, and Leonardo Dalboni. Miami improved to 12-8 on the season and will host Notre Dame tomorrow for their final home match. MK, what's going on with golf?
Yeah, Ariel, women's golf got 10th place this past weekend at the Clemson Invitational, finishing 2 under par on the 72 par course. The Canes will head up to NC on April 16th through 18th for the ACC Championships to finish up their play.
Well, Canes, that's all we have time for today on the O Sports Roundup. See you next week, same time, same place.
Thanks, MK and Ariel. Stepping up to the tee box is no easy task, especially when repping the U. Dylan Davis sat down with one Canes golfer to see how she stays prepared on this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Dylan?
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. I'm your host, Dylan Davis, and today from Canes Golf, I'm joined with Katie Carmen. Katie, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
So tell me, what got you into golf?
Well, I grew up playing pretty much every sport, and I was 13 at the time, and I was playing volleyball. And kind of felt like it wasn't really for me, and my dad's always played golf, so he just started taking me out to the course, and I fell in love with it.
I love that. And what's the culture like here at UM on the golf team?
The culture's great. All the girls are international, so it's awesome. You learn so much about each country, and everyone has such a fun personality, so it's just every day at practice is so fun, and you never know what's going to happen, honestly, but it's awesome. I love it.
And I have a question for you about advice. So has any coach or teammate given you a piece of advice that has stuck with you throughout your golf career?
I would say just staying present, like enjoying the moment that you're in, and don't get too far ahead of yourself and don't harp on the past. I try to implement that in golf and outside of golf, and I feel like it's helped me a lot.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what has been one tournament or golf memory that you have that has stuck with you?
My favorite tournament is the Dixie. I played that right before I came to UM, and it was just such a fun tournament, I think, because I was so excited to go to college and play, and I don't know, that's always been my favorite.
Well, I love that. Thank you again for joining us, and I wish you the best in the rest of your golf career.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Of course. And that's all we have for this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dylan. Up next on Sports Desk, Luca Mucciardi takes us into the explosion of soccer in South Florida and how one group is leading the way. Stay with us. But first, it's time for some trivia. As of 2023, 304 University of Miami baseball players have been drafted to the MLB, the most of any team in the ACC. But of those, only one has gone #1 overall. So who was it? Was it A, Daniel Cuvée, B, Greg Vaughn, C, Pat Burrell, or D, Ryan Braun? The answer when Sports Desk returns. Stay with us.
All right, guys, there's a lot of sports here at UM, but what sports do you want to see added?
I'll go bowling. I feel like bowling would
Bowling,
be very fun.
okay.
Bowling? I feel like field hockey.
I
I feel like
kinda-
we could eat field hockey.
I agree. I like, like horse riding, stuff like that. See a few more jockeys in the school. I think that'd be fun. Horses, chickens.
Here in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
Welcome back to Sports Desk. If you answered C, Pat Burrell, you'd be correct. Burrell went #1 overall in 1998 and won 2 World Series with the Philadelphia Phillies and the San Francisco Giants. As fitness continues to expand across South Florida, one man shares how he turned his personal struggles into motivation to make a positive impact on others through fitness. Jordan Cerullo has the story.
Reese Whiteley was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, before moving to Miami years later in search of better opportunities. Throughout his childhood, Whiteley lived in several underprivileged neighborhoods. He found comfort in playing basketball and using physical activity as a way to escape the hardship he faced.
I didn't know what I wanted to do after sports, which I feel like so many people deal with. So through that moment, I asked my mom, like, hey, look, what do I do now? And she was like, yo, go back to school.
Whiteley developed a passion for physical therapy and training, which ultimately led to the creation of the Complex Health and Wellness Gym.
I worked with my boy and helped him build up his brand a little bit before leaving. I left in 2020. And the reason why I left was because I developed a name for myself, and I was doing maybe 60, 65 sessions a week.
Whiteley focused on opening his own space, and now hundreds of people come to train with him and his team, participating in personal training sessions and physical therapy. He believes in holistic care and designs a personalized workout or rehabilitation plan for each individual he works with, tailored to their unique strengths, weaknesses, and goals.
I've been to a lot of gyms before this, and I feel like this by far is the best workout for me. And Reese is a really good trainer.
Reese serves as a role model to the Miami community, encouraging others to speak their dreams into existence and actively pursue what they desire.
I believe that everything that you want for yourself, you can go ahead and attain and get. And I also believe that there's nothing that is impossible.
Whiteley is finally seeing his dreams become a reality and plans to open studios in Coconut Grove, Boca Raton, and West Palm Beach, expanding personalized fitness throughout South Florida. For UMTV, I'm Jordan Cerullo.
Thanks, Jordan. With Miami basketball missing out on March Madness, there's a lot of work to do for both Jay Lucas and Trisha Cullop. And now with the transfer portal open, they're taking full advantage of it. Our Hurricane Hangtime crew is here with a rundown of Miami's early additions. Guys?
Guys, welcome to Hurricane Hangtime.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Penelope Gilbert, joined by analysts Zach Cohen and Tucker Kinney. The offseason came early for Canes basketball, but head coaches Jay Lucas and Trisha Cullip have been working their magic in the transfer portal. Zach, what transfers do we have coming in on the men's team?
Thanks, Penelope. Jay Lucas and his staff have been busy over at Miami men's basketball. First off, we have Trey Donaldson, the senior guard transfer from Michigan, who shot 37% from three and helped lead Michigan to the Big Ten title and the Sweet 16. Next up, we have Malik Renow, senior forward from Indiana, where he spent 3 seasons. The 6'9" big man averaged 5.5 rebounds per game and is a reliant points in the paint scorer. Finally, we have Ernest Uday Jr. This one just announced, 6'11" forward from TCU, averaged 6.5 points per game and 7.5 rebounds in 3 seasons. That's all for Miami men's basketball. Jay Lucas and his staff still have a lot to do.
Thanks, Zach. Moving on to the women's team, Tucker, how has recruitment been going for Coach Cullip?
Well, Penelope, a couple of weeks ago I said an early end to the season could prove beneficial for Trisha Cullip in terms of recruiting, and that's been proving correct. On Monday, they announced 2 signings. The first up being Victoria Blasting from USF. She's a 5'9" guard, and Cullip has described her as a proven player who thrives in clutch moments, and she has some accolades to prove that. Last year, she was 2024 AAC Freshman of the Year, and she's been called up multiple times to the Italian national youth team for the U19 FIBA World Cup and the U20 European Championships. It didn't end there, though. Maya Kone from FIU, a 6'2" forward, Cullip described her as being able to play in multiple positions, and she also has some accolades of her own, being last year's Conference USA 6th Player of the Year and named to the Conference USA All-Player First Team. Time will tell how influential these players will be, but it's a time for Canes fans to be excited for the future.
Thank you, Tucker. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Ever since the arrival of Lionel Messi to Inter Miami, soccer in South Florida has taken to higher heights than it ever has before. Reporter Luca Mucciardi sat down with one group to break down the soccer revolution.
Inter Miami has taken the sports world by storm in recent years, with star signings like Jordi Alba, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and of course, Lionel Messi. But there's one other thing that Chase Stadium is home to, and that is Siege Miami, one of 3 fan groups that you can see rocking the stands with their flares, banners, and songs each and every week at Inter Miami games. I was able to speak to Siege social media chair Nico, who told me what it means to be part of a group so integral to the culture of this club.
In the stands, we try and sing along as much as we can, but it's not, some people treat it as a job. We don't really force people to do it like that. You know, like some people get in trouble for not singing. Congrats on you if you sing or not.
But these world-renowned stars have not just had an impact on the field, but off the field as well, as South Florida has become a newfound hub for the game of soccer.
Soccer itself in South Florida has always been big, so it's not a bit about being big, it's just getting the fans out. With this team now that came here, Messi has changed a lot because you get a lot of diversity that comes to the game and a lot of people that want to come and see him play just before he retires. So it's been growing a lot in the last few years.
But for members of Siege and Inter Miami fans everywhere, their dream remains the same, and they will continue to see their club grow in the future.
It's been nice. All of a sudden, people that have never talked to me about soccer before are like, yo, how's the game? How can I get out there? Blah, blah, blah. I even had my boss ask me the other day, like, hey, can I get out there with you for a game? So, like, yeah, it's been a cool cultural shift. It really has.
But even as players come and go, one thing remains certain. The Siege will always be there. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Luca Mucciardi.
Thanks, Luca. Still ahead on SportsDesk, we're taking you with UM sailing program, so stay with us.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Under the radar, the University of Miami quietly has one of the best sailing programs in the nation, and reporter Tucker Kinney got a chance to take to the waters and see how this team has come together.
Training out of the U.S. Sailing Center in Coconut Grove, club sailing is one of the University of Miami's oldest clubs. Since becoming competitive in 2004, it's also one of the most unique in that it's a co-ed team.
It's so important to have the mix, have a guy and a girl. We all have different strengths, and in sailing, like, you need both.
And I think that it actually elevates the level, having so many different personalities and viewpoints and different styles of how we execute what we do out there on the water.
Critical to their success is the ability to bond and trust each other.
If you don't have great teamwork, if you don't all like each other on the water, especially in team racing, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're never going to perform at a high level.
Team racing is all about trust, and so trusting that your crew or your skipper is going to be there for you, but also your teammates are going to make the right move, they're going to stick to the play. It's really important.
The team ranked 14th nationally at the end of the fall 2024 season, and they're hungry for more as they prepare for the spring 2025 national competition.
One of my big goals is to be obviously #1 club in the country, and then hopefully top 10, maybe even top 5, if we can have a really good event.
See us hopefully making a top 10 finish at nationals, which would be really exciting, but no ceiling, honestly. I think we can do really well.
And they've achieved their success without the perks of a varsity outfit.
Being a club sport, we've had to jump through a lot of hoops that all of the other varsity teams that we're competing against haven't.
We're competing at the level we are at, training 2/3 as much as the next team due to our limitations with academics and other funding reasons.
The push for varsity has been long, but they're ready for when their day comes.
And so we've been pushing hard, and we've been doing our part to make sure that if that opportunity opens itself up to us, we're ready to jump on it.
Tucker Kinney, UMTV.
Thanks, Tucker. Goalie Jeremy Swayman and the Boston Bruins played hard against the Canadiens last night, and even though they lost, I think it's fair to say this play is a candidate for Save of the Year. Let's take it to Bell Center for this week's Play of the Day. Heading on over to our neighbors up north in Montreal, it is the Canadiens against the Bruins, and going not one but twice at the save is Jeremy Swayman, going for the diving catch with his glove. Matheson at that first attempt and Carrier at the second in his blind spot basically, and Swayman lunges for the save in the second period. The Bruins go on to lose against the Canadiens 4-1, and Montreal faces the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow.
The Miami Marlins squared off against the New York Mets in a 3-game series this week at Lone Depot Park, and Luis Torrens came in hot with a 2-run homer. Torrens at the plate, and he's going to launch this one deep, but it looks like it's dying a little bit. Derek Hill reaching for it, and he's got it, but no, right off the glove and out of the park, a 2-run homer. Marlins would challenge, but they would be denied. And Annie, I don't know if I could show my face around after doing something like that.
I would have to take like a leave of absence, like paid leave, take a weekend off and take a retreat, but it's better that it's now and not in August and September.
Oh, 100%.
I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, and also they lost 10-4 that game, so it's not like it mattered too much in terms of the total score.
Exactly.
So, I mean, but I don't know if I can.
That's still a rough play.
But that's all the time we have for this week's edition of Sports Desk. Thank you for joining us.
Be sure to tune in next Friday for another episode, same time, same place. Have a great night.